The father on Seventh Heaven admitted he sexually molested young girls. Now his...
The first incident was in 1973. You were 25 years old. How old was the victim?
She was 10.
Next tonight, the Bill Cosby scandal dominating headlines, but tonight another TV dad offering a confession.
The reason Collins is talking? The release of a 2012 audio recording from a marriage counseling session with his estranged wife.
The exposure happened a couple of times.
A couple of times? You told me once.
And so far, he hasn't been charged with any crimes. The statute of limitations has expired. So, David, there would have to be a more recent victim, a new victim, for criminal charges to happen.
Living with her aunt, Collins lived next door and came over to fix her video game console.
When he turned around, his pants were completely unfastened, his was hanging out.
Bombshell confession straight from the headlines. That famous TV dad, actor Stephen Collins, coming forward for the first time. Why now?
One tweet sums up the scandal. Reverend Camden, how could you?
Are you a pedophile?
I am not. I do not fit the either clinical or dictionary definition of it.
The first incident was in 1973. You were 25 years old. How old was the victim?
She was 10.
But a decade later, in the same year he met his wife on the set of Tales of the Gold Monkey, he says it happened again.
There were 2 times in 1982, 20 years ago, in 1994, when I exposed myself to 2 different teenage girls.
Do you remember the look on these girls' faces?
The look on the one in 1982 was such that it immediately just stopped everything cold. It was clear that she was disoriented and frightened, and that just made me want to stop and cover up, and I did.
How old were these girls in 1982 and 1994?
They were 13 and 14.
Did you find this sexually gratifying?
Not at all. I mean, not at all. It was not exciting. It was not gratifying. There was no gratification.
Then why did you do it?
It was a combination of poor impulse control, arrogance.
When was the first moment you realized that you had these impulses, an attraction to prepubescent or underage girls?
No, that's the thing, and I absolutely do not have that attraction. The incident in 1982, God help me, took advantage. That's not the right word, but I acted impulsively again.
I think taking advantage may be
maybe it is exactly the right word.
Are you a pedophile?
I do not fit the either clinical or dictionary definition of it, but I'm absolutely not attracted, physically or sexually attracted to children.
Never tempted?
No.
Never had the urge? That seems sort of weird to me. If this is a pattern of behavior, that you could go for several years and not have that inclination.
Because I didn't walk around thinking, oh boy, I could do something now, but no, I'm not going to. I don't white knuckle this. This is not something I'm not fighting with. It's not like if I miss therapy next week, something's going to happen.
Are there any other women out there?
No.
No one else is going to come forward and say, this happened to me in 1987.
I can't guarantee what someone might do, but...
Off-screen, he seemed to practice what he preached, volunteering at soup kitchens and serving communion at his local church. But beneath that squeaky clean image, Collins was hiding a secret.
Did you feel at times that you were leading a double life in any way?
No. We're all made of dark parts and light parts. I know that other people are going to judge and doubt, and I can't do anything about that. All I can do is tell my truth.
The story exploded this fall when TMZ released audio of Collins and his wife while they were undergoing marriage counseling. Audio that included admissions of his sexual misconduct with 3 underage girls.
There was one instance.
But how did you, there was one instance what?
Well, this isn't a disclosure, and I told you before, there was one instance wherefore there was one moment of touching.
Unbeknownst to Collins, Faye had secretly recorded every disturbing word.
When did you realize she was wearing a wire?
She took me into a stairwell, and she told me there, she revealed that, she said, I recorded. I was wearing a wire. I recorded that session. And she said, here's our settlement. You're going to sign it now, or that recording is going to find its way to the media.
When you exposed yourself to his 10-year-old sister, did you have an erection?
No. I mean, no. Partial? Maybe.
Partial erection?
Maybe, yes.
How did you talk to her? What kinds of things did you say?
What is it?
How did you talk to her? What kinds of things did you say?
The exposure happened a couple of times.
A couple of times. You told me once.
No, I said on the list it happened several times. I said on the disclosure.
Several times. Oh, you have to understand I was being shot in the face with a shotgun. So several times.
It happened
with a 10-year-old. Okay.
Well, no, she was 11 and then 12 and 13. There was never any conversation around it. There was one instance.
But how did you there was one instance what?
Well, this isn't a disclosure, and I told you before, there was one instance wherefore there was one moment of touching where her hand, I put her hand on my penis.
You put her hand on?
Yes. That was in the disclosure. That was also, I also told you that before that, when we were in the hotel.
You gotta understand that, pardon, I can't.
I got it.
Okay.
It lasted a few seconds, and that was the last time anything ever
What were the other girls' names? I want their first and last name.
I don't know his last name.
And who
was the niece of the woman who lived across the way. She is someone I actually saw about 12 or 15 years ago and made an amends to.
Did you date her?
No. Date her?
That's outside the realm?
Oh.
Here? Did you date her after you disclosed? Just wondering, Stephen. I need to know.
No.
Okay. How many times with
Once.
And you said that there was another girl. How many girls altogether?
That was it.
No.
No.
You said that there was...
Help me out here. There was sister. There was
sister who was 10, because she wrote me when... Because she was 10. 10, 11, 12, around several years.
There were, I think there were like 3 incidents over about 3 years.
Okay. So, and then there was the girl across the way and then there's, so it's just 3? You're sure?
Speaking out for the first time, one of the victims of former Seventh Heaven star Stephen Collins is breaking her silence. CBS 2's Susie Suh is live in the newsroom with her story. Susie.
Paul, April Price sat down with the British paper The Daily Mail. She was open and candid about the incident between her and Stephen Collins.
And I'm just shocked.
44-year-old April Price is breaking her silence, talking about how actor Stephen Collins exposed himself to her when she was a child.
Honestly, up until this point, I'm 13. I've never even kissed a boy. This is not something that I was even prepared to deal with. More or less, I kind of just shut down.
Price, who spoke exclusively to DailyMail.com, says she was in awe of the famous actor. It was the summer of 1982. Price, then 13, was living with her aunt. Collins lived next door and came over to fix her video game console.
When he turned around, his pants were completely unfastened, his was hanging out, and I'm just shocked.
Collins admitted to inappropriate behavior with underage girls in an interview with Katie Couric last year after secret recordings with his ex-wife Faye Grant became public.
I told you before, there was one instance where there was one moment of touching.
He says that the incident with Price only happened once, but she says it happened on 3 separate occasions.
He was acting normal, so I was determined to act just as normal. I'm keeping an eye level. I'm not, my whole thing at that time was not to respond. I didn't want to be rude. He was fixing something for me. I was appreciative of that. So he did his thing, and then he left.
Well, Price ended up working alongside Collins on the set of Seventh Heaven, where Collins apologized. Live in the newsroom tonight, Susie Saw, CBS 2 News.
Hey, Daddy.
Hi, hon. How are you?
Hi. Daddy, I'd like you to meet Eddie Leco.
Eddie, how are you? Hi, Dr. Tyson. Have a sit down. See, you're watching the All Music Station. You're into reggae, huh? Yeah.
I said, you go down. And I said, hey, man. I said, hey, man.
People are upset about some things, darling.
Why are they yelling?
They want attention. They're trying to get attention so that people listen to them.
This is our way of trying to get some media attention because they are ignoring us. They're ignoring the anti-war movement. They're ignoring the anti-government movement. We love our country, but we cannot trust our government anymore.